All right, so welcome everyone to our April wellness webinar. I'm Melissa Scott if we haven't met, and I'm the supervisor of our exercise and wellness program here at Community Care. So today we're going to be talking about everything exercise, and I'm just going to pull up my PowerPoint here so you guys can see. So everything exercise, what happens when we exercise. There we go. All right. Hopefully now it's big enough for you guys to see there in Lakefield. Okay, so once again, everything exercise, what happens when we exercise. So our discussion topics today, we are going to review some statistics on exercise and falls, because unfortunately, when we talk about exercise, we do also have to talk about falls, because there is quite an impact or an effect that exercise has on preventing falls. Then we're going to talk about negative outcomes of falling, benefits of exercise, what types of exercises should we be doing, physical activity and various health conditions, what should I be eating, importance of protein in our diet, and then tips for getting started in an exercise program and guidelines for success. So some statistics on exercise and falls. So recent estimates show that only 11% of Canadians between the ages of 60 and 79 years of age are meeting Canada's physical activity guidelines. So what are those guidelines? So the guidelines state that we should be getting 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity per week, as recommended by Canada's physical activity guidelines. So I know, you think 150 minutes, this is a week. So if we break that down, there's 7 days in a week. So we divide that by 150 and we have about 22 minutes. I would even go as far as to say 30 minutes if you can fit that into your day-to-day. That is, you are doing really well. We will get to talk about what a moderate activity looks like too, okay? So more than 90% of adults ages 60 to 79 are sedentary for at least 8 hours a day. So sedentary means that they're not very active, they're not getting a lot of steps in the day at all. They're usually lying or sitting down for majority of the day. So estimated that 30% of older adults in our communities will fall one or more times each year. And unfortunately, falls are a direct cause of 95% of all hip fractures among persons aged 65 years and older. And of that 95%, 20% of those cases lead to death. So you can see why we do want to avoid falls. It's very important. Fall-related injury rates are 9 times higher among those aged 65 years and older. And muscle weakness increases your risk of falls by 4 to 5 times. Okay, so those aren't meaning to scare you. It's just more becoming aware and educated on, risks and just the statistics, really. Okay, so what counts as moderate intensity activity? So Canadian physical guidelines say, moderate to intense activity. So this activity will raise your heart rate and make you breathe faster and also make you feel warm. So on your skin, it will create more of a warm sensation. Maybe you have to take off a layer of clothes. Maybe you sweat a little bit. So some examples of moderate intensity activity include walking, water aerobics, dance for fitness, pickleball, pushing a lawnmower, and pole walking. Okay, so just some examples. So some negative outcomes from falling include a fear of falling. So once someone falls once, a lot of the times they are pretty nervous about getting up again and having another fall, especially when they're not quite certain what caused the fall. Loss of autonomy. So once we fall, because of that fear and anxiety, we become less independent and have more of a difficult time making decisions on our own. So that's what that means. And then of course, if we're scared of falling, we're fearful of falling again, we're not going to be getting up as much, right? So then we're going to have a decrease in our mobility. So not getting up and moving around as much because again, we are fearful and maybe in pain too after our fall. So greater isolation is another negative outcome. So, we're scared of falling, we're not getting out as much, we've kind of lost our independence, so we're staying home more. So this is pretty isolating. We tend to again stay in the comfort of our own homes instead of going out. And then confusion can also be another negative outcome involved with falling. And really, it's a combination of all these things. If we're staying home, we're not getting around more, we're not interacting with other people and, knowing what day it is, that sort of thing, as if we're getting out and going to our regular activities, and we can tend to get confused. And then, of course, all these different outcomes plays a role on our mental health. So if we have anxiety about falling, we're not getting up and moving, we're in pain more. Again, we're isolating ourselves more, so we're staying at home and confused. We can become quite depressed, okay? So this is why it's so important that we want to prevent falls. Okay, so the fun stuff. So benefits of exercise. So exercise reduces the impact of muscle loss associated with the natural aging process. It can increase mobility for the function of our joints and flexibility, improves physical function, including our coordination and muscle strength, improves the density of our bones and balance. Also improves our mental health by decreasing stress and anxiety and improving mental clarity. Can help support disease prevention, control, and management, such as arthritis, cardiovascular disease, so heart conditions, diabetes, osteoporosis, chronic pain, and some others. We are going to talk a little bit more about these, and also because it is Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month, we will be talking a little bit more in depth about Parkinson's disease as well. But exercise increases our emotional and social well-being. We're getting out, we're being more social, we've made new friends at our exercise groups or along our walks. Can increase our autonomy, so that independence that we have. Increases energy. And I know that sounds like a strange one, but if energy creates energy. So if we're kind of just sitting around all the time, we kind of feel not so energetic. But if we're getting out, doing things, if we're moving our body, that does increase the energy. And then, of course, reduces our risk of falls. Okay. So physical activity and various health conditions. So arthritis. So I know a lot of people with arthritis, rheumatoid, osteoarthritis, they're in a lot of pain, right? So you really want to avoid moving. But that's really, not what you want to do. It is shown that regular physical activity can help reduce your pain and the symptoms of your condition by improving your muscle strength. So improving your muscle strength, our muscles surround our joints, okay? They help support our bones. So this is only going to help keep your joints strong and keep you well supported. Can reduce stiffness in your joints because again, we're moving them. So it's helping to keep them lubricated with some movement. Cardiovascular disease. So regular physical activity helps strengthen the muscles of our heart, allowing your heart and lungs to function better and improving blood flow in our body. It can also promote weight reduction and lowers our blood pressure, which also are some precursors for cardiovascular disease. So diabetes. Another health condition. So regular physical activity improves the body's sensitivity to insulin and helps manage our blood sugar levels in the body. Can also help lower our risk of heart disease and nerve damage that is associated with diabetes. So osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is different than osteoarthritis. Sometimes we get those mixed up. So osteoporosis is when our bone density lessens. our bones become a little bit more porous. Okay, so a lot of people with osteoporosis, they can fracture easily. And sometimes people don't even know that they have osteoporosis. So it is important to exercise and get physical activity to protect our bones, um, including your spine. It slows the rate of bone loss. It's shown actually that lifting weights or doing body movements with, on your feet against gravity helps improve bone loss. So it actually helps slow it down, and it sometimes can increase your bone density as well. And it helps build muscle strength, which can help prevent falls. So, preventing a fall with osteoporosis is crucial. If someone with osteoporosis falls, I mean, they're more likely to suffer a fracture in their hip in multiple areas. Okay. And with osteoporosis, sometimes people with osteoporosis, because of their bones, they do have develop poor posture and poor balance. So, this helps improve posture and balance. And then chronic pain, another funny one that you think, oh, I shouldn't be exercising. I'm in so much pain. But regular physical activity can improve our pain tolerance, and and it also promotes the release of endorphins, which act as natural painkillers. And it's kind of like the same thing as arthritis. The more we move, the more we stay lubricated, the more we stay able to move. Sometimes when we don't do things for a long time, our bones and our muscles become sore. So moving does promote flexibility in our joints, which helps reduce pain over time. It also can help improve fatigue and symptoms of depression, often associated with chronic pain. Okay, so physical activity and Parkinson's disease. So Parkinson's disease, it's a neurological disorder. A lot of, some people with Parkinson's disease, they lose their motor skills. So sometimes they become uncoordinated, which means they can really suffer with balance issues, like a shuffling gait. And then eventually, unfortunately, their cognition is also affected. So if you've ever seen, someone shuffling, especially if they're like walking into a building, that sort of thing, like that person might have Parkinson's disease. So anyway, so regular activity and Parkinson's disease. So it can improve many symptoms that are associated or that people with Parkinson's disease have. So including gait and balance. So gait means the way we walk. So gait pattern is yeah, so gait is like our mobility, okay? And flexibility and posture, because again, with Parkinson's, they do tend to kind of come forward a little bit more with their posture. And then motor coordination and cognitive function. So physical activity can slow the disease process, decrease pain associated with PD. So again, a lot of times people with PD, they do get really painful and stuff because their joints and everything don't move as well. Um, so moving can help with that. And then prolong independent mobility through gait. So through walking exercises, it can keep them mobile for longer. Also help with balance and strengthening exercises. Okay, so physical activity also improves sleep, mood, and memory, improving quality of life for someone living with Parkinson's disease. Can also improve symptoms not related to mobility, including depression, apathy, fatigue, and constipation. Um, Also can help improve the complications of immobility associated with Parkinson's disease, like cardiovascular disease and osteoporosis. And then what kinds of exercises should someone with Parkinson's disease be doing? Very similar to what we should be doing as well. It's just tailored more for someone with Parkinson's disease and what stage they're at. So a variety of aerobic exercise, strength training, balance, and flexibility. Um, and then another really helpful thing for someone with Parkinson's disease are some cognitive activities or exercises to help improve memory and cognition. So meditation, music therapy, even doing like having music going and having some sort of rhythm when they're walking can really help improve gait patterns, so the way they walk. Doing math in your head, board games, including puzzles, word games, reading aloud. So anything that's going to, use your brain muscles as well. Okay. So we kind of talked about, what someone with Parkinson's should be doing. What should we be doing? So very similar thing. We want to enhance. We want to make sure we're getting some endurance or cardio exercise. This is going to increase your breathing and heart rate, improve the health of our heart, lungs, and circulatory system. So we just talked about cardiovascular disease, so you can see how important it would be to make sure you're doing that to improve the function of our heart and lungs and make sure the oxygen is being pushed through our body in a good way. So some options of those or some suggestions are walking, jogging, dancing, swimming, biking, pickleball, even yard work. You can work up quite a sweat with yard work, and that is coming. Also, strength training to increase and maintain muscle mass and strength. So things like lifting weights, using a resistance band. So they're those stretchy bands, and they come in all different strengths or resistance, I should say. Also, body weight exercises. Okay, so just standing on the floor, doing some squats, doing some heel raises, those sorts of things. Balance exercises. So balance exercises help strengthen our muscles that we use to help with our balance. So our core muscles, so our hips, our abdomen, our back, okay? And they really help prevent falls as well. So standing on one foot, walking heel to toe. There's also Tai Chi and yoga. So balance exercise or any exercise too, always recommend if you're starting out using a chair, that sort of thing, if you are standing up doing exercises. And then flexibility training. So we want to help stretch your muscles, keep those joints moving so you can be more mobile. So things like stretching, just having a regular stretching routine in the morning is a really good time because, as we wake up, we're all stiff and sore. So just doing a few stretches is really good. And then yoga, of course, as well. Okay, so what should I be eating? So consuming a balanced diet to receive optimal nutrition and providing your body with the necessary nutrients, vitamins, and minerals to function properly and maintain good health, not only physically, but mentally too. What we eat plays a huge role on our mental health as well. Okay. So balanced diet that includes a variety of nutrient dense foods and ensures adequate caloric intake to help you maintain a healthy weight and reduce risk of unintended weight loss and related health problems. So what is a balanced diet? We want to make sure we're getting carbohydrates, so complex carbohydrates rather than simple carbohydrates. So things like whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. We want to make sure we're getting a sufficient amount of protein. This is very important as we are aging. Okay, so good sources of this is lean meats, poultry, fish, legumes, dairy products. You can even supplement for plant protein if you're a vegetarian. We are going to talk a little further about protein in the next slide. We want to make sure we're getting fats in our diet. So things like nuts, seeds, avocados, fatty fish. Those are all good, healthy fats. Vitamins. So some good sources of vitamins are fruits, vegetables, whole grains. Minerals are good. Another good source, dairy products, leafy greens. So things like spinach, collards, those sort of things are very nutrient and mineral dense. Nuts and whole grains. We also want to make sure we're getting enough fiber in our diet. So good sources, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, beans, and legumes. And then we want to make sure we're staying hydrated. Okay, so drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water per day. And then for anyone that's, a good, loves their coffee and tea, caffeinated coffee and tea, we want to actually make sure we're drinking a little bit more than 8 to 10 glasses a day. Just because, 1 cup of coffee needed to be drinking like 2 cups to really be getting that intake of water and hydration. Okay. Okay, so importance of protein in your diet. So protein is one of the three macronutrients that we need in our body. The other two are carbohydrates and fat. Protein plays a crucial role in the structure and function of our body. Protein is made up of smaller units, which you may have heard of, called amino acids. They're essential for growth, repair, and maintenance of our body's tissues, such as muscles, skin, and our hair. Protein is important for older adults, including so things that they help are tissue repair and maintenance. So for growth, repair, and maintenance of our body's tissues, like our muscles. So you can see why, if you are getting exercise or even as you're aging, it is very important to make sure that you're getting enough protein. And then muscle health. So adequate protein intake is essential for maintaining muscle mass and function, especially as we age. And then it also helps with our satiation. Sorry, I have a hard time with that word, and weight management. So it can help promote feelings of fullness and regulate our appetite by helping make us feel full, and then making it easier to maintain a healthy weight. So how much protein should we be getting? So Canada Health recommends a daily intake of 0.8 grams per day per kilogram of our body weight for women and men ages 60 years and older. So what does that mean? So I just kind of did a rough math here. 150-pound person is 68 kilograms. Okay, so I broke it down and converted to kilograms. So we're going to times that by 0.8. And then you get 54 grams of protein a day. Okay, so that's how much someone of my weight would need to eat in a day. So you can, try to do the math on your own, or I would always, if you have any pre-existing health conditions, just make sure you check in with your um, doctor as well, or a nutritionist, because certain people with kidney disease, need to be mindful of how much protein they're getting, and other health conditions as well. So if you're going to significantly change your diet, it's always a good idea if you do have any pre-existing health conditions. Okay. All right, so tips for getting started. How can I be successful? How can I be prepared if I'm going to start working out? Okay, so as I just said, anything really new we're starting, especially if we have any pre-existing health conditions, we might want to just check in with our healthcare provider to make sure of things that you might want to avoid, or things that would be really beneficial. So you're not maybe, doing something that, you could be using your time with something else. We want to make sure we're wearing proper footwear. So something sturdy and supportive, no heels, nothing, no slippery bottoms, nothing with the back missing in the sole of your, or in the heel of your foot. You want something that you're not going to slip out of when you're working out. You want to wear comfortable clothing so we can allow easy movement and keep our body temperature regulated. So nothing too tight, nothing, too loose, and then nothing that's like slippery material. Okay. And then we want to have water easily accessible to you because, we're working out. We're going to be losing some of our hydration. So we want to make sure we're keeping hydrated as we work out. We want to check to make sure whatever space that we're working out or exercising in is clear of clutter, because if we, have to move our feet around, we're getting really into the exercise. You don't want to trip over anything once you've started working out, okay? And then you want to make sure you have a sturdy chair for standing and seated exercises. If you're doing standing exercises, a sturdy chair, a table, a kitchen countertop, or an island, like something like that, that isn't going to move if you're actually really gripping it and holding on for your balance. Okay. And then guidelines for success. So consistency is key. So, you work out once a month, you're not really going to see many results. I mean, starting somewhere is great. If you're going to work out and you're just starting for the first time, 2 to 3 times a week, and then maybe working yourself up to increasing that. Okay. And then even the time that you do it. So they recommend, 20 to 30 minutes of exercise a day, or at least 3 times a week. maybe breaking that into 10-minute segments a day. Okay. And then we want to find a time of day that works best for you to complete your program. So this just helps with keeping you consistent. If you schedule it into your day, it becomes part of a routine, right? So then we're going to be like, oh, it's not such a big deal. It's just in my schedule. I'm going to do it. Okay. Take your time completing exercise to do them properly. So this is very important to not injure yourself and to make sure you're getting the benefits. Also, taking your time so you're paying attention to your body. I stress this so much in my classes. You really need to work within your own range. And each day can be different, right? So you just really want to tune into your body and make sure you're not overexerting yourself, but definitely challenging yourself as well when you can. Okay, so again, I already said making it part of your daily routine. Find an exercise buddy. So find a friend. This can really help make you accountable, keep you motivated. You know, if it's something you're doing together, it can be more fun. And we don't want to make exercise boring. Like exercise is, you know, it's getting out there, it's getting social. You know, you're doing good things for your body. You want to make it fun. Listen to your body, take rest when you feel tired, and then again, continue to challenge yourself. Start off with fewer repetitions and gradually increase as you get stronger. Okay. All right. So that is the end of my presentation. I'm gonna just exit out of this for a moment. And then if anyone wants to come on and has any questions, please feel free.
I thought that was really good, Melissa. Thank you very much. Very informative. And I enjoyed it. I was actually eating my healthy lunch and my husband, he also had in here as well. He was listening, and good information in there for both of us. So thank you.
Good. I'm happy that was useful for you. Good. What about in Lakefield there? Do you guys have any comments or questions at all you want to ask? And again, it's not, if you don't feel comfortable right now, you're more than welcome to email me. I can put my email in the chat, or, you know, ask Lori. She'd be happy, I'm sure, to send you. Oh, you have a waving hand. I think I see a waving hand in the back. It must be Sandra or Sandy.
Can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
Okay, I'm Sandra. Is it okay? I do chair yoga. I go to class and do chair yoga, but they don't stop for water breaks. It's okay to drink water when you're doing.
Oh my gosh, yes. So no instructor that we have with community care, or any instructor, should ever tell you to not drink water. You always are more than welcome to take whatever time you need and take a sip of water, take breaks when you need it. This is what I really stress to people in my classes. You see your neighbor doing all these things, maybe more advanced things than you, and you're always like trying to keep up, right? You're not seeing your neighbor stop for water, but again, it's what you need, right? If you need water in that moment, you take water in that moment. You need to sit down in that moment, you sit down. Okay? So it's really just trying to like tune into yourself too and doing what you need to do. Yeah.
They said not to drink water, just that she has water there and everybody has their water, but they never say, okay, because some exercises, other than chair yoga, they do say, okay, we'll have a water break, drink your water. But the
Yeah.
I find they don't do that. So I just drink my water. But I think, was this right?
Yes.
Okay, it's okay.
Good. And you know what? I mean, maybe give that instructor some feedback and say, you know, do you mind like just incorporating that? Maybe it's time for a water break. Where do you do yoga? Did you say at home?
Want to say. I don't want to say.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. That's okay.
I love her yoga. I keep going, but it's just that I don't see anybody else drinking water, and I just want to make sure that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I encourage that. So you drink water when you need to, for sure. Yes.
This is Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Two questions around protein. The first was that example that you gave us, and I can do the math on my own, but how many grams of protein was that?
0.8.
No, I'm sorry, the total, how much protein do we need in a day? I apologize.
Okay, so
Example, 150 pounds times 0.8 and it came to how many grams of protein total?
right, so for 150-pound person,
Right.
I converted it to kilogram because that's what you need to do the times by 0.8. It's not by pounds. If you get by
Okay,
pounds,
okay.
you're going to be eating like over 200 grams or more of protein, and that is way too much. So make sure if you're going to do it, you convert your weight from pounds to kilograms first. Okay. Now, step one.
Right.
And then you're going to times that by 0.8. So for 156 pound, or sorry, for 150-pound person,
Yes.
54 grams of protein a
Okay,
day.
that was the piece I didn't hear. Okay. And
That's
the second,
okay.
sorry, the second question I have around protein is I'm really challenged to eat 54 grams of protein in a day. There's some alternative things that I can have to get protein. Like that's one of the areas I manage the fiber. I'm bad with potato chips, but that's a different story. But the protein piece, I'm just really challenged to get that much into me.
So I sneak it in definitely, like I do a higher protein breakfast.
Okay.
And I know that's really hard. I think for a lot of older adults, you know, like I know a lot of people aren't hungry in the morning, but one, it's very important to eat breakfast in the morning as much as you're not starving by any means. Getting a good breakfast, I know we always hear this, but it starts your day off right. It sets you up for success. So I do quite a bit of protein in the morning. I would say almost close to 20 grams is what I do. I'm not saying that you need to do that. But then I also sneak it into some snacks as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes I'll have like I like those Baby Bell cheeses and I'll have that for like, just one of those. I'm not sure how many grams of protein is in one. But then just trying to make it into each meal. And I know it's very filling, but that's not a bad thing.
Good.
Um, there's different options if you're not a meat person, and it totally depends on, your own what you can have and what you like and what you don't like. Like there's falafel, which is like a chickpea, like it's in beans and that sort of thing too. So like hummus, dipping that with carrots. Um, just finding something that you like and that would fit well into your budget and your diet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I just don't quite understand the pound and the kilograms again.
Oh, okay.
Which is the whatever pounds and times it by.
You have to take your weight.
Convert it to kilograms.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Either way,
Yeah. And what is that convert? I'm just trying to look it up right now. Pound to
2.2.
Thank you.
2.2 pounds in 1 kilogram. So you probably would divide by 2.2, your weight by 2.2.
Yeah, you got it.
Divide my weight by
Divided by 2.2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, Google is great for entering anything like that and saying your weight, like say 142 pounds to kilograms, it will come up and give you your kilogram. That's a sneaky way to do it.
So my daughter, 25, and right now she's eating a high protein diet. How high can you go?
I think you need to be careful. I know was she doing like a keto?
No, she's doing this. It's called a 75 hard challenge. She is trying to lose some weight. But I thought she said she's eating 1 gram per pound. which
Yeah.
which would be very high.
Yeah, it would be different. So that daily intake measurement that I gave you is for people over was it 60? I think it's over 60. So that's like the same range. I think it would be probably, I'm not sure how old your daughter is, but it likely would be different from her for her.
Is there, I think there must be an upper maximum as far as protein.
I'm
goes.
sure there is. Yeah, I'm definitely sure there is. I don't know that off the top of my head. I think you want to be careful. Oh no, keto's high fat diet. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Atkins diet. Um, yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head what would be too much, but I was reading some things and they were saying even for your like for 60 and older, they would even suggest a little bit higher, especially if you're physically active, but not significantly higher. I think it was 1 to 1.2 grams or yeah, per kilogram of your body weight. But again, the Canada Health, that's what they recommend. But there is, if you want to Google it, I'm sure that Canada Health might state that. And look up daily, I think it's called DRI, daily, is it DRI?
Kind of daily intake, maybe, RDI, that makes sense.
RDI.
Anyway, I can look that up. I was just curious.
Yeah, but Canada Health. Sorry, I'm not sure about that off the top of my head, but yeah, and yeah, I'm not some, I think some people that are really into health and trying to lose weight, they do, different diets and stuff. I'm not really up to date on all of them, but yeah.
Balance. So how
I think a balanced whole food diet is really important for sorry, for for everyone, right? Like I think even if you're trying to lose weight, I think trying to eat as much whole foods as you can and a variety of different foods is going to help you lose weight in the long run. But it's hard for some people, so yeah. Any other questions for today? Yeah.
Pole walking.
Yes.
When I say to people, I'm gonna pole walk, oh yeah, it's good for your balance, but it also told it's good for cardio because I say I use it for cardio actually.
It is. Yep, for both. Yep. Yeah, and your balance, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good full body one. Pole walking is really good for you. We do have a pole walking group that meets. It is they do some trails that are a little bit more difficult. But they're meeting right now at the Bell Rotary Trail in Bridgenorth on Tuesdays. Actually, they'll be meeting here in about 50 minutes. So they meet at 2:30 till 3:30 and they do a different trail usually each month. Pardon?
Locations then?
Each month they change locations. Yeah. Yeah, if you're interested, do you get our emails, Sandy?
I do, Sandra, yeah.
Sandra? Yeah, if you get our exercise and falls prevention emails, it is noted on there. You'd have to scroll down and then there's a section where it says pole walking. And then each month we change that location, or it's also on our community care website.
I've seen them, a lot of times they're in Peterborough or somewhere where I don't drive. I drive, but I don't like to drive in certain.
They've been out like Lakefield way quite a bit actually in the last little while, but or Bridgenorth too.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap that up for today. So I really do appreciate your guys' time and coming. And thank you, Deborah, for helping set everything up at the Lakefield office.